I believed love was enough, but sometimes love is the very thing that blinds.
I believed love was enough, but sometimes love is the very thing that blinds. Memory feels like holding an old blanket for someone like me. It is soft, it keeps me warm, and it carries the scent of the past. Yet, it is also heavy and worn, with threads coming loose at the edges. Looking back, I see almost 30 years of my life, spent creating a home filled with love, laughter, and the kind of trust I thought could never break. I believed my life was built on the strongest ground, a foundation that nothing could move. But beneath the surface, hidden deep inside, was a crack, a small crack that waited quietly, concealed under the weight of my love and devotion. I took pride in the life I built. Each day was carefully stitched together, like a patch on that old blanket, adding colors of joy, warmth, and hope. However, even the strongest fabric can hide weak spots. The truth was always there, but my heart was too full to notice. I wanted to believe in forever, so much that I forgot forever could still break. This is the story of how that hidden crack nearly swallowed everything I thought was safe. Reflecting on those early years, I remember the simple dreams I held. I was young, hopeful, and full of light. My heart was like a blank page waiting for a story, and love was the first word written on it. I believed in good things, kindness, and the promises people made when they looked at you with genuine eyes. The world seemed wide and open, and each morning offered another chance to create something lasting. I trusted the days like a child trusts the sun to rise. Every step I took was full of excitement, every small moment a seed planted for tomorrow. Those early days gave me strength. They shaped my view of family, my belief in hard work, and my trust that love would always be stronger than fear. I didn't know then that even the brightest stories could have hidden shadows. To me, life was simple. You give love, you receive love, and the circle remains unbroken. But sometimes life writes its own lines, and they don't always align with our expectations. With love in my heart, I began to build. The walls went up one by one, not with bricks and stone, but with faith, patience, and sacrifice. Each act of kindness, every shared laugh, and all the promises made during quiet nights became the foundation of my home. I thought nothing could shake it. We worked together, side by side, chasing dreams and filling the rooms with the sound of life. It felt solid, as if time itself respected what we had created. I was certain I had found my forever. The foundation wasn't made of cement, but something stronger: devotion. Every sacrifice I made, every tear I held back, was part of the cost of building. And with each passing year, my house of love stood taller. I either didn't see, or perhaps refused to see, that even strong walls can bear small cracks, and those cracks can grow silently and unnoticed, until one day they demand attention. Love, when it is pure, is heavy. It requires patience, trust, and giving even when you're weary. I gave all of myself and more because I believed devotion was the only way to keep love alive. For years, I bore that weight without complaint. I woke up early, worked hard, and put smiles on my face even when my heart was tired. Every choice I made wasn't for me, but for the home, for the love I wanted to endure. It's strange how weight can be both beautiful and crushing. My devotion held the roof up, but also blinded me. I believed that if I carried enough, if I gave enough, nothing could break us. I thought devotion was the glue that held everything together. But sometimes, devotion hides the truth. It can obscure what needs to be seen. My love became so heavy that I couldn't feel the tremors beneath the ground. When the crack finally revealed itself, I realized devotion had kept me from hearing the warnings. The signs were always present. Small moments that didn't fit, words spoken too quickly, silences that felt too long. I brushed them aside because I thought love was stronger than doubt. When laughter felt forced, I told myself it was just a hard day. When promises seemed empty, I convinced myself they were still full. A person can live in a house with broken walls if they choose to close their eyes. That was me. I shut my eyes because I was scared of what I might see if I opened them. Looking back, I can identify the quiet cracks. They were in the forgotten touches, the unfinished sentences, and in how smiles no longer reach the eyes. But love makes us stubborn. I told myself these issues were small and not worth disturbing the peace we had built. I thought cracks couldn't harm a foundation so strong. I was wrong. Cracks don't stay small. They wait and they grow. We thought the walls around us kept us safe, but they also trapped us. Each day became routine, and every word was spoken more out of duty than joy. The house we built was full, but the walls hid more than they revealed. We built them high, not just to keep the world out, but to shield ourselves from facing what was within. Silence resided inside those walls, and silence is a heavy guest. We believed routine meant stability, but it only concealed the truth. We laughed when others were around, but when the rooms fell quiet, the silence was louder than anything else. I thought the walls were strong, but they were merely shields, preventing us from examining the foundation closely. And behind those walls, the crack waited, growing daily. I didn't realize how blinding love could be. I saw what I wanted to see, not what was truly there. I believed devotion could fix anything, but devotion without truth is like painting over broken wood. I thought love would never lie, but sometimes love isn't enough. My heart was so busy keeping the flame alive that it missed the fact that the fire was already going out. I misled shadows for light and silence for peace. Blindness isn't always about what the eyes see. It's about what the heart refuses to acknowledge. I refused to face the truth because it would mean my forever was breaking. I thought if I kept believing, the crack would heal itself. But truth doesn't work that way. Truth waits. And when it arrives, it doesn't whisper, it breaks. The day the truth arrived, it felt like the ground opened beneath me. The foundation I trusted was shattered wide open, and the crack was no longer hidden. It was there, clear, sharp, and cruel. Everything I believed was shaken. The love I gave, the trust I poured out, and the years I invested, they all stood trembling on that broken ground. Truth offers no mercy. It doesn't care how many years you gave, how many nights you cried, or how many dreams you built. When truth comes, it cuts through all of it. I stood in front of the crack, staring into it, feeling like I was about to be swallowed whole. My heart repeated one question. How could something I thought so strongly of break so easily? The days that followed were heavy with silence. I carried the truth inside me like a stone tied to my chest. I wanted to scream, but the words stuck in my throat. I wanted to cry, but the tears burned before they fell. Silence became my companion. I carried it everywhere, into the mornings, into the nights, and into the spaces between my breaths. Silence is heavy. It presses down until even the air feels hard to breathe. I thought carrying it would make it easier, that maybe time would soften it, but silence doesn't heal. It only adds weight. The more I stayed quiet, the more the crack grew, and the more I sank under its power. When I look back over the years, I see the threads of time pulling apart. The fabric of my life was once vibrant, but now the edges are frayed. Each memory carries both joy and pain, warmth and heaviness. Time doesn't hide what is broken, it just weaves it deeper into the fabric. I can't recall one memory of joy without also feeling the shadow of the crack lying beneath it. The frayed threads remind me that nothing stays whole forever. What is loved can still be broken, and what is trusted can still be betrayed. Yet, even frayed threads still hold the warmth of what once was. They tell the story of a life lived, of love given, and of hope carried. Even if the ending isn't what I dreamed of, it wasn't easy to rise again. I felt as though the crack had drowned me, but somehow I found air. Slowly, with each breath, I learned how to stand again. Pain didn't leave me, but I learned how to walk with it. Courage came not as a loud shout, but as a whisper, telling me to keep going. Each day became a small struggle to smile, to eat, to see the sun without bitterness. I realized resilience isn't about never falling. It's about standing back up, even when your legs shake. I stood because I had to. I breathed because life was still calling me. And little by little, I discovered pieces of myself that the crack couldn't take away. I began to understand that home was never just the walls or the roof. Home was within me. Home was the strength to rebuild, the courage to forgive myself, and the freedom to live without lies. I no longer needed to rely on the old foundation. I was building a new one, not solely on devotion, but on truth and self-respect. Redefining home meant letting go of the weight I had carried for so long. It meant opening my hands and releasing the pieces that no longer served me. In doing so, I found peace in knowing I was enough, even without the walls I had once called home. Memory is strange. It doesn't choose sides. It carries both the sweet and the bitter. It holds laughter alongside tears and joy alongside betrayal. My memories remind me of love's beauty, but also its cost. They showed me how strong I was, even when I thought I was weak. Memory is like that old blanket, warm but heavy, stitched with both light and shadow, and yet I am grateful for it. Without memory, I wouldn't know the depth of what I survived. I wouldn't understand the strength I carry today. Memory might be heavy, but it is also proof that I lived, loved, and endured. Now, as I rest, I no longer struggle against the weight of the blanket. I let it cover me with all its warmth and heaviness. I know the cracks. I know the frayed threads, and I accept them as part of my story. My life wasn't perfect, but it was mine. The blanket may be old, but it still holds the warmth of love, even with its broken threads. Within that warmth, I find rest.